Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bill's RPGs and Crafts. Today's video is going to be the subject of how to keep your game alive, how to more or less keep your players not as bored playing around the table. There's nothing you can do if your games fall apart because life gets in the way, but this is stuff you can do to keep your game interesting and entertaining. You should recap your game at the beginning of every session, what happened last time, especially if you all don't play every week. The second thing you need to do is you need to limit the time the players have to make decisions in combat. Use a 10-15 second timer. When it's their turn, that person's turn, flip it over. They have that amount of time to decide what they're going to do. And then, in addition to that, they have however much time it takes to resolve the dice rolls or the effects of the magic or whatnot. That would speed up combat as well, and your spellcasters need to be looking up their spells before it's their turn if they're debating on what to use or don't know their magic very well. Have big action going on in your game. Have something going on that maybe has a timer on it. Say roll a 4-sided or 6-sided dice at the beginning of combat because the ground's going to start shaking. There's an earthquake happening, or fire's spreading, and you need to figure out when the fire's going to start damaging the players in that room, as well as start filling the room with smoke so they have other combat things going on. You know, just ratchet up the stakes. And that doesn't need to be every combat, but 1 out of every 4 or 5 combats would be interesting to have ratcheted up. Keep the players on their toes. Use great locations. And not every combat needs to be in a great location, but if the dungeon's on the side of a mountain, say that is constantly swept by winds, that is an okay location. Now, what's even more interesting is if the fight to get there is on a rope bridge that is falling apart under the weight of the players as they're attempting to get across. That adds to it. So just expand. Think of like a dozen locations that are interesting and entertaining, or that would be great movie locations for combat. Write them down, figure out how you'd use them, and keep them in reserve to give you more inspiration when they need places to go or things to do or ways to increase the interest to a dungeon you're already going to run. If the group needs it, take breaks every 1 to 2 hours. 5 to 10 minute breaks, allow people to go bathroom, smoke, you know, the normal. Especially if you're going to play a 4 to 6 hour game session. Breaks are definitely needed. The game will stay more alive the more the players are interested in what's going on and the more action you have going on. Rewards need to be in the game, but they don't need to be the main focus. Players being allowed to be very creative will also add to the game staying alive longer. The more you can look at your stuff and figure out what you can do that might break, say, a combat but not the rules of the game, make it interesting. Say a Tanglefoot bag. What happens when you hit a flying creature with a Tanglefoot bag? That's after it's landed on the ground. If you hit it in the wings, can it fly? Usually no. If you soak the ground with oil, anything chasing you will slide around. In addition, you can light it on fire. These are some of the things that are creative that you could also add. Well, if there's anything I left out or anything you think you can add, put them in the comments below. Until we meet again.